Be it resolved that the regular council meeting of June 22nd, 21 be adopted. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Marvin.
Thank you, Marvin. All in favor? And that is carried. Seconder?
Michael.
Michael, thank you. Any questions or concerns regarding the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor? And that is carried. We have several items. First one is the Winkler Heritage Society and their 2020 reports. And as everybody else, there's so many changes that have taken place in the last year because of COVID, and survival rate looks okay. And so they've given us their report there. The next, any questions regarding the information? Hearing none. The next one is a bulletin in regards to the education property tax rebate and frequently asked questions, what they're all about, and some answers, and then types of properties that are discounted and by what amount. Any questions regarding that? Or maybe Jody, what is your impression as far as the questions or how the staff has been able to handle?
I think they're handling the questions quite well. There are questions about it, and I think some of the issue is that some people put away monthly for the property tax, and now their property tax is higher than normal because they receive less of a rebate, and they will be getting a check, but what it looks like to them at first glance is that they'll have to pay more. So those, I think, are the majority of the types of questions.
Yeah, the end result is supposed to be a discount to the property owners, but in the meantime, there may be a little bit more needed up front. So.
Yep.
Okay. The next one is a thank you note from the Pembina Threshermen's Museum. Jody, are you answering Karina there, the question that she had?
Okay. Is it, I'm not sure if it's just the...
Karina, do you want to weigh in?
If it's just the voice cutting out?
You guys were all freezing, but it's okay now.
Yeah, there was a little glitch here that seemed to happen with the internet, so.
Okay, we're back
Okay.
up and
Okay, great, thank you. Just didn't want you to be left out.
Marvin.
Okay, any other questions regarding Threshermen's Museum? Hearing none. We'll move on then to finance, to the accounts payable. Be it resolved that the accounts payable amount of $1,003,000 and $243.54 as approved by the Finance Committee be approved for payment. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
And a seconder?
Andrew.
Andrew, thank you. The next, we have the list of the check register. Anything there that is highlighted? Okay, I had one issue I talked to Jody about it. I'm not sure if you've got that resolved or not, but.
Yeah, that was because of some replacement phones.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was legit?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, the cell phone was a little high. All right, all in favor? And that is carried.
We've had fun with that one before.
Yep, we have. Be it resolved that Council authorizes Manitoba Hydro to install 20 times 150 watt LED luminaires along Highway 32 from PTH 14 to Cargill Road for the annual amount of $4,183.20 plus applicable taxes. A mover?
Marvin.
Thanks, Marvin. And a seconder?
Don.
Thanks, Don. Any questions regarding those? None? All in favor? and that is carried. Going on to the Transportation Utilities meeting, be it resolved that the Transportation Utilities meeting minutes for June the 9th, 2021 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew.
Thanks, Andrew. Do you have a seconder?
Marvin.
Marvin, thank you. Any questions regarding the reports or water conservation? Oh, sorry, the water consumption. And somebody was asking me
No,
about.
we've been doing well as a city, and we moved down to level 2 now, so we're on the right track here.
Somebody was asking me today about the water supply, and I said we are just very fortunate that we made the decision to add the reverse osmosis plant and apply for the extra 400 feet of brackish water from the province. So,
And it should be noted too that we are still working on our aquifer supply license, right? We're doing a study, doing a bunch of well testing, and we've identified further treatment capacity in our long-term capital planning, right? So.
okay, thank you.
Did we have a vote on that one?
No, I was just wondering,
Oh,
or
okay.
do you want to add the Cambridge Light?
Yeah, we can go back to that one once we
Okay,
vote on this one.
okay. All in favor of accepting those minutes? And that is carried.
So Cambridge is back to 5.3.
Okay, go back to 5. Oh, okay, I missed that one. Sorry about that, guys. Be it resolved that council authorizes Manitoba Hydro to install 4 60-watt LED exclusive streetlights on Cambridge Crescent between Northlands Parkway and Red Hawk Trail for the annual amount of $697.44 plus applicable taxes. Mover?
Michael.
Michael, thanks. Seconder?
Marvin.
Thanks, Marvin. All in favor? And that is carried. Be it resolved that health and safety meeting minutes for June the 10th, 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Don.
Seconder?
Rena.
Thanks, Karina. All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that the Planning Committee meeting minutes of June the 10th, 2021 be adopted. Mover?
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Don.
Any questions regarding the Planning Committee minutes or any comments? Hearing none. All in favor? That's carried. Be it resolved that the MSDW Planning District meeting minutes for May the 20th, 2021 meeting be received for information. Seconder?
Andrew.
Thank you. Any question regarding those minutes, or Don or Andrew, any comments?
As you look through the numbers, our numbers of value have pretty much doubled or more right across our municipalities. So of what it was last year. So the activity is very great compared to what it was last year. So hopefully we anticipate the same growth throughout the rest of the year.
Could only get better.
It can only get better. Yep.
Be it resolved that community service meeting minutes of June the 8th, 2021 be adopted. Mover?
Andrew.
Seconder?
Rena.
Thank you. Any comments or questions regarding that? All in favor? That is carried. Be it resolved that PV Lip Council meeting minutes of May the 20th, 2021 be received for information. Mover?
Rena.
Seconder?
Michael.
Any comments regarding PV Lip?
They're working hard, trying to get everything done through COVID, right? It's not an easy task to try to bring people together to celebrate their cultures and so on, but they're doing it, and they're doing it well, especially through all of it. So kudos to all of the team that's working hard there.
Okay. Appreciate it. Thank you. All in favor? and that is carried. Be it resolved that Central Manitoba Tourism meeting minutes for June the 7th, 2021 meeting be received for information. Mover?
Rena?
Seconder?
I can help.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions regarding Central Manitoba Tourism?
I'd just like to note that Gwen got hired as a part-time staff member to do like summer tourism stuff, and it's a really cool opportunity, and I look forward to seeing what she comes up with for our region. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Okay, awesome. The other thing, I was watching your video in the City Hall here the other day with the new video for Central Tourism.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal. Just curious, when is that thing going public, or is it public?
I think that it's been public already, but I'll ask them to do a little bit more of a push on it. Obviously, we need to do more.
Okay.
So, yeah,
I was looking, couldn't find it, so.
I
Yep.
thought it was too.
I think it was publicized. It was just released and then, so we can do more of a push on that for sure.
Perfect, thank you.
Mhm.
And that is carried. Where are we here? What time is it?
We got 5 minutes.
Okay. Be it resolved, the meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings. I've got a question. Do we want to get their presentation in first before we do the public hearings then?
When can you check if others, we can
They're-
check if they're there, but,
Well,
or do you want to do it first anyway?
well, I think let them come in, and
Okay.
no sense making you sit right to the end, eh?
Yeah, we've got a.
Yeah, we got like a 9 o'clock appointment, so you. Okay, why don't we do that? Let's go to 13.5, and Winkler Stanley Economic Development Corporation has done a lot of work to try to figure out who they are and what they want to become. And I think, Leah, you're the spokesperson to do the presentation?
We're going to split it up, but
Okay.
I got voted in to do first.
Okay,
So
okay. You can warm the pulpit up.
I will definitely warm the pulpit up. And you know, it was quite timely, your invocation in regards to mistakes. So I would assume that if there are many made, that we'll just have some grace there. So good evening. Again, my name is Leah Clausen, and tonight we have the honor of presenting to you on behalf of the Winkler Stanley Economic Development Corporation. We appreciate the City Council's willingness to hear our proposal. So fun fact, did you know that the Winkler Stanley Economic Development Corporation was actually incorporated in 1959? At that point, it was the Winkler Industrial Development Corporation Limited. Other fun fact, me knowing that fact got me appointed to this board. So be careful of the research that you do for the board that you get to be on. So since that time, there's been a group of dedicated business-minded folks that have been dreaming big on what Winkler could do and could be. In the last number of years, this group, on a voluntary basis, has helped with immigration initiatives, set up an incubator mall in the industrial park, which has a waiting list of businesses, by the way, and more recently helped facilitate the building of the Buhler Active Living Center. So here we are once again, a group of business-minded folks with an idea. I'd like to introduce you to part of our team. So Ben Friesen and Dennis Harder will be doing some presentating as well,
Nice.
even in the presentation. So Ben's going to touch on the immigration side of what this proposal entails, and Dennis is going to give an overview on what we dream the business development piece looks like, and then I get to come in at the end for the money piece.
Home run.
Yes, absolutely.
go.
So I will ask Ben.
Good evening, all. Thank you for this opportunity for us to share. I presume you all have the presentation to look at, the slides. Is that correct?
We have them just up here on the screen now.
Okay, just up on the screen there. Okay, so we'd like to go to the immigration slide then, if we could, please. So in the past, so the opener is Harvey Giesbrecht has been voluntarily working on the immigration for the Winkler Stanley Economic Development Corporation. Harv has put in a lot of hours on this project, and together with Mr. Harder as well. But they put in a lot of time. He's met with the government on many different occasions. He was the president of this corporation, chairperson for the last year or two, and due to him being just really overwhelmed with work and everything else, he decided that he would like somebody else to take over that position, and thankfully we got Leah to do that. And then at the board level, the board decided to form a committee, which was the three of us then. I represent the Armin Stanley. I'm appointed as a business associate for them, and so this nominating committee has met numerous times. We've been trying to figure out this economic development officer, this immigration officer, and it's just been going on and on. So I'll touch mostly on the immigration part as we're looking, for the whole presentation. The position that we're looking at putting into place will be consisting of definitely between 50 and 75% of the time will be on immigration. Harv definitely wants somebody to take that over. He's very willing to stay on and help and communicate because he's been connecting with Vanessa and everybody. And so he's very much going to be part of it. He's not just going to throw it at somebody, but whenever this person will be put into place, he will work diligently with them. We also know that at the same time as Harv has been doing, he's been working with Star 7, etc. And obviously that communication and that business tie-in, we totally want to keep going as it is. The Manitoba Provincial Nominee Program, the MNP program, was totally accepted by Vanessa Gerardo. Probably not saying it right, but something like that. They definitely assured that they were all buy-in. They were totally accepting the proposal that had been put to them. So it's just an ongoing process right now. So that in itself also puts a lot more work on right now. So somebody really needs to, not that Harv wasn't doing a good job, but not just do this on the side. Somebody really needs to put their teeth into it and say, we're really going with this program now, and we're going to put due diligence in and make sure that this thing gets done through. So the Assistant Deputy Minister, Vanessa, accepted our proposal in its entirety. As it says there, 38 applicants, which had a rejection rate of 75%, would all be sent invitations to apply to our department. So that was a super big plus. Harv was, I think he couldn't sleep for a day or two when he got the okay on that. He was super pumped because he'd been working so hard on it. So this will give a lot of opportunity for us, Winkler Stanley Economic Development Corporation, to be able to control the selection process as a community for the RM and Winkler all joint, and to a large extent all of southern Manitoba actually. So I'm just going to read a little paragraph here that Harv, in one of his emails, he wrote. The whole point of our proposal all along has been to keep as much of this work outside of our offices and allow trusted, reputable business partners to do the work that they do best, and I feel that this proposal strikes the right balance between these two. As immigration is an integral part of our economic development strategy, the proposal being developed for an economic development position, which we have been talking about this position, should include the tasks we have proposed as community responsibilities, is a significant part of the job description for the position. It would serve a coordinating function for the volunteer committee that represents the communities and drives us forward. So as indicated on the slide, the province has put the ball squarely back into our hands. WSEDC has, I wouldn't say the power, but it's been put back to us. Okay, now let's go. We've accepted your proposal, so now what are you going to do? Let's start performing on it. So our total proposal includes that position we want to fill and really do a good job at it. That's what all I got on the immigration, besides what the slide has there right now. If there's any questions, they're fine. You can do them now or later. We don't have as much information on the immigration part of it as Harv and probably the mayor himself do, but we're definitely open to look at anything that you might have questions on.
I think one of the key victories that all of us need to be very thankful for is we have argued for years. It should not be somebody in the city of Winnipeg deciding the suitability of our region.
Exactly.
And that was one thing that we stood on. We said we're not going to back down from it. And that is the thing that the minister has accepted, that we will be the one that decides. And it's our business community that will decide the suitability, and not simply somebody 100 miles or 200 miles away says, no, he's not suitable for a community, even though the rest of the criteria they fit and they were approved based on that, but just the suitability. Well, maybe they won't stay in Winkler. Well, it was pretty flimsy, but it was very gratifying.
Yeah. Well, I think the big plus on that was when the Deputy Minister for Manitoba Immigration came out here and visited and had a really successful tour with Harvin. I'm not sure you were probably involved with it as well. And she just came out of that just with her eyes open and just feeling really good about this whole proposal.
Yeah, Assistant Deputy Minister.
Yep,
because she's in charge of the Immigration
Assistant
Department.
Deputy Minister. Yep.
Perfect. Thanks, Ben.
Thank you. Dennis.
Well, good evening. Thanks for having us here today. I'll get to talk on the business development part a little bit. And basically what we are looking at there is we have been blessed with the economic growth in our area for quite some time now. And we want to make sure we can continue to see good growth in that as well. And we want to enhance the experience for our entrepreneurs, for new business owners or even current owners that are looking to expand businesses and that kind of stuff. So the idea is that we have this position be the first line of contact for anybody who is looking to either grow their business or moving into the area, and become that liaison between the different entities that are being involved or needing to be involved, whether it's pulling permits or getting real estate, that kind of stuff. So this position would be the person that would take the phone calls or have the meetings, connects the mayor or city manager or whoever needs to be involved in decision making and getting the right things together. And so, just to make it easier and more welcoming as well. I guess Winkler is the logo that we've used for years, and that's kind of what the idea behind this is. If somebody's calling the city office and is saying, I'm looking to expand my business, rather than having to first, typically a person might get a pushback. Well, who are you first? Wait a minute. What can we do this? We don't want to discourage anybody. Entrepreneurs know that if you don't want to, if you get that runaround, the push around, it's too easy to say, well, let's just push it off for next time and then not go ahead with a brilliant idea that could be a huge business opportunity in our community here. And so this person would take the call, take the meeting, ask a bunch of questions, know what's involved, and then either connect this individual to the right person, the right department, or that kind of stuff. Even with the Heartland, if they're at an early stage and they need to get prepared for financing or even with a business plan, just pointing them in the right direction. That's the idea behind it. And then, of course, the other part is the incubator mall as well. Managing day-to-day operations, making sure that all units are always full, and as well as providing mentorship to current tenants that we have there. The goal is to grow those, to help them get established and eventually move out and grow and expand their business. And this will be the person that would also be working with that hands-on and making sure that those people that are getting in there and taking the first step get the support they need to move forward. So I don't know if there's any questions on that, but I think it's pretty straightforward for now.
Okay. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Dennis.
So as our team mentioned, we met a pile of times to figure out what this position might look like and how it feels and how it can really fit. We know that based on our collective experiences, the success of this position depends on a few factors. One is hiring the right person. So knowing the culture of our area, knowing the people in our area. Two is the relationships and the connections that are built. So being able to put those, as Dennis mentioned, put those connectors in place for our entrepreneurs. And three is creating an environment for success and accountability which then would be this board's job. During the course of our meetings, we agreed that the key to successful process is creating that opportunity for relationship between the city manager and the CAO of the RMS Stanley. This position cannot work in isolation. It cannot work beyond their scope. There needs to be transparency and there needs to be collaboration. Although this position will report to the chair of the board, there will be regular evaluations in consultation with the city manager and the CAO. We want to be proactive in this position and guide the individual at the start. We aim to hear of any issues sooner rather than later so that we can course correct. So next up, money. We would like to propose a jointly funded position for the Business Development Immigration Officer. We would respectfully request a 50-50 shared funding between the City of Winkler and the RMS Stanley. We feel that this way, both funding sources are equally invested. Our proposal is for $120,000 a year. This would cover salary and operational costs. We would also propose a 5-year commitment. This, based on the current climate in the hiring arena, we feel would give us the best opportunity for an excellent candidate to be able to offer them the 5-year commitment. However, our board fully expects annual reviews and understands if this individual is not meeting objectives outlined in this timeline, it would be revisited. We do not want to retain a position just for the sake of having a position. Again, we thank you for your time. Time is valuable and we do appreciate the opportunity. And we are of course open to any questions that you might have.
Well, thank you to each one of you. And council, anybody has any questions or clarification or comments?
Are you presenting to us first and then the RMS Stanley, or have you had a conversation with the RMS Stanley already?
RMS Stanley is the first week in July.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We did, however, meet with their finance
Yes.
department.
Okay.
So we did have one meeting with them, and they now want to come back to the full council.
Excellent. Thank you, Ben.
Okay, great. Well, I know the amount of work that you guys have gone into, and I appreciate it. I always appreciate people who are working towards betterment of the city of Winkler, and to partner is just the right way to do it. And you guys show a very good promise. I'm looking forward to it. We'll discuss it as council, and I guess we have our. Oh, the other question I was going to ask, originally we were talking about maybe doing that hiring this year. Do you have a date? So I realize it would be proportionate to that 120 number, but do you have a date in mind when you're looking at filling that position?
So, you know me just a very little bit.
Yesterday.
Just a bit.
I'll ask you to come back to the microphone so those that are here can hear you.
Absolutely. As I mentioned, our mayor knows me just a little bit. So yes, yesterday would be awesome. We would love to be able to post and try to fill that position for a start date of September.
Okay, that's what I was wondering about. So we'd know approximately the amount of commitment is for this year and know where we're at for next year. So, okay. Thank you very much. Great information, great presentation, and wish you well in the RMS Stanley. I'm sure you have equally good people there.
Well, they're at 8:15 in the morning though. So
Oh dear.
that would be great. Sure.
Yeah.
But it's good to be at the beginning of the agenda so they haven't spent all the money by the time they get to you.
This is very good.
Nicely done.
Right on.
I think for the RM, I'm going to get Ben to ask the money. So that's
There you go. Good idea.
All right.
Well,
Thank you very much.
That 120, what's that all covering?
We have a verbal commitment from the Reeves, so it's.
Perfect.
Is there a
Mr. Mayor,
question from Andrew?
I think Andrew had a question.
Sorry, Andrew?
I may have missed that. What was the 120 all covering?
Everything. Total budget.
Salaries and office expenses.
Ah, I see. Okay, thanks.
All right, anybody else? Hearing none? Thank you again.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Okay, be it resolved, this meeting of council recess for the purpose of holding public hearings.
Henry Siemens.
Seconder?
Karina?
Thank you, Karina. All in favor? And that is carried. Okay, we'll wait till they come in, and Jody, you can take it from here.
Yep.
Hey guys, welcome back. We will continue our public hearing, and the purpose for the public hearing is obviously to discuss any new information that has become available. We don't want to go over the ground we covered the last time around, so if both of you could kind of give us that, and Jody, if you want to take it.
Yep. So this is, as Mayor Harder mentioned, a continuation of the public hearing for variation application 1677. And we read most of the details. The variation itself actually was for an adjustment on the number of parking stalls and the front yard setback in order to construct an addition for a new drive-through pickup window. So just a few notes then before we start for council. There is a updated report to council and some shared notes. And after the closing of this public hearing, there's essentially three options open to council. One would be to approve the variation application as originally presented, subject to the encroachment agreement, which would come either way, and a development agreement that would include some noise mitigation requirements like the fence. So that'd be option one. Option two would be to approve it again with the encroachment agreement, the development agreement, as well as a requirement for a traffic impact study. In that case, the traffic impact study would need to be paid for by the applicant, and the plan would be adjusted according to the recommendations of the study. So that would be option two. And then option three, of course, there's always one, which would be to deny the application. So maybe what I'll do, since this public hearing was extended to get some more information on the noise mitigation and the access, I'll get Scott Taves, our Director of Planning and Infrastructure, to give us an update on that.
All right. Yeah, so just starting with the noise component of it, looking at what we've done for historical projects where there's some concern around noise. City of Winnipeg, Province of Ontario, and World Health Organization set a minimum standard for what noise should be mitigated to. And what we've done in the past is using this level of 55 decibels or the ambient noise level that's existing in the area, because you can't make it quieter than it really is. Trying to develop a fence or some sort of structure to mitigate that noise concern with regards to the drive-through that would be located next to the north and the west properties there. Also, I guess with regards to traffic concerns that were raised at the last portion of the public hearing, our zoning bylaw allows for the requirement for a traffic impact study to be completed. Taking a look at the development the way it was proposed, the removal of the back out parking along Pembina is safer than what it would be today with the egress being able to face traffic versus backing into traffic. But ultimately there are other impacts that can be looked at. What's the impact on parking access, those kind of things, and that would be all covered under the traffic impact study guidelines that have been shared with Jeff as well. And so developing that scope to make sure we're looking at best practices with regards to traffic impacts on this site from this development. So short summary there.
Okay, thank you, Scott. Any questions of Scott?
Just one, Scott. You've had an opportunity to meet with both the proponent and the concerned citizens?
Unfortunately, I haven't. Myself, I haven't been on site with regards to reviewing them. In terms of traffic reviews, that would be done under the traffic impact study by traffic professionals.
Okay.
And that's why our recommendation is the way it is. So,
thank you.
yep.
Sure. Jeff, do you want to add something to that, or John? Who's first?
I think I'm pretty clear on how.
Okay, you want to just step up to the mic so the rest of council can't hear you. Sorry, John.
Yeah, I think I'm pretty clear on, Jeff sent me an email with outlining a lot of the criteria that needs to be met and the studies that would need to be done. So I think I'm good with that.
Okay.
As long as there's a traffic impact study. I guess there is a lot of traffic on 15th, so, and we do have traffic backup at times already, the way it is. And our thoughts are just the residents close to that area, that it would not get worse with the potential traffic coming, wanting to get into the drive-through, creating a backup of traffic to block driveways or to stop or slow down traffic flow. Obviously, noise is a very big concern, but I think it sounds like they're all going to be addressed.
Okay.
With that traffic study. So.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Thank you, John. Anything to add?
Well, I don't know if we need to add anything, but I guess the one question is if there's any, with the decision made today, like, is it going to be all based on what the study comes back as, or is there going to be a decision made today whether, or with us having to just follow what they recommend?
Yeah, I think Jody, you clarified that, right?
Yeah, so
what are
again,
the three
the choice
options
would
again?
be, you could approve it as it was applied for, with the encroachment agreement and the development agreement without an impact study. Or council could approve it with the development agreement, encroachment, and the requirement of a traffic impact study. And then the results of that study would dictate where accesses would need to be.
Okay. Yeah.
So it wouldn't be the fact whether you could build or not, but just how your traffic flow.
How it would be built.
Right.
But either way, a decision needs to be made at this council meeting.
Correct. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Right.
Okay. So do we have the information? And
I have one more question, Martin, if you're okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Scott, the conditions here that you've suggested, those have been shared with the proponent. Jeff is aware of the pieces that we've said this is what would be part of that. Thank you.
Yeah, I believe the report was shared with you, Jeff. Yeah,
okay.
As well as the guidelines around traffic impact studies as well.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
All right. Any more questions?
Marvin has.
Marvin, yes, go ahead.
The traffic impact study, well, I'm just wondering the details of that one. Will they recommend, or will they just react to a plan that we have submitted or that the proponent has submitted? Just, I guess I need clarification. Like, would they give you a best case scenario or best way to do it?
So typically they would take a proposed plan and look at whether it would meet general design guidelines, but also look at improvements or issues on site that are potentially generated from the change. And we have to remember we're looking at a change by adding the impact is from the drive-through. It's not a change in operations in any way in that way. So we need to be careful to separate out what those impacts are. And so that's what that traffic impact study has to look at, on what are those changes on site, and is the traffic significantly impacted, and what sort of mitigation measures need to be done. And so the existing use is there already, so already taking into account what those uses are, and what is that incremental change, and how does that get managed on site, including access to parking. can be looked at as well.
And Scott, is there any estimate of that kind of cost for traffic impact study?
For larger traffic impact studies, for what the city has done for Northlands Parkway to School or Pine Ridge Elementary, those have been the $10,000 to $15,000 range. Those are larger ones, though. I'm not sure on a site-specific one. Maybe Jeff has a better answer. Not yet? Okay, yeah. So, and those are larger scope as well. So,
thank you.
How long something like that take to complete, roughly?
In terms of work, it could be 2 to 4 weeks. It can be done relatively quickly. It depends on how quickly the engineer gets out, does traffic counts, gets that kind of information, consolidates it all. Whether you're in peak season, traffic right now is also a little bit skewed. And so that's part of the challenge whoever is going to do that study needs to factor in. Is that traffic patterns right now are not the same as what they are when there are less other restrictions related to COVID. So that will be a tricky part to evaluate in there as well. So,
in addition, 15th Street will be closing shortly.
Yeah, as well. 15th Street will be closing this week as well, so that will also impact traffic in that area. And so, in terms of the counts, it will have to be looked at in whether the counts are done after construction are done. We have some pretty good estimates in the area, but I don't know what their site numbers are, and that's going to be part of the tricky part, I think, in terms of the scope of the work. And so factoring all those things in as well. So,
have there ever been any previous traffic studies done there, or traffic counts at least, or no?
I'm sure we've done traffic counts at some point. When and how often, I can't say off the top of my head.
Just curious if that would be helpful or not.
Yeah, and we can provide historical data on whatever we have, but in terms of what current counts to and from sites are, that'll be dependent on the proponent's ability to produce those estimates as well. So.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
I'll stay up here until.
We'll wait till you sit down.
That was your physical fitness program.
Yeah.
Okay. No more? All right. If there's no more, then be it resolved this public hearing for V1677-21 be closed. Mover?
Marvin.
Marvin and Michael, thank you. All in favor? And that is carried.
So the resolution, then, there is some wording there, but we will adjust it according to the resolution that you'd like to make, whether you want to, essentially it's whether or not you want to require the traffic impact study. That's the difference really between the two.
Well, it sounds like that's a recommendation, right?
Mm-hmm. That was, I believe, Scott, the recommendation from planning, correct? Yeah.
So then if we would just reword it, that it would be approved subject to the traffic impact study?
To the encroachment agreement, the development agreement, including
traffic impact.
Traffic impact study, yep.
Okay. Is council okay if that is what our resolution reads?
I don't know that we even need to say quite as much if we say in agreement with the accordance with the recommendations made in the June 17th report to council.
Right. Yeah, because it's included
had
there.
all of it up top there,
Yep.
which I believe Jeff is aware of because the report was shared with him. So I think if we go that route, it's nice and neat and clean, and it's all there.
Good suggestion.
Okay. Marvin? No? Oh, okay.
Good. Good.
All right. So if the resolution reads that, I'm not sure if you want to read it or just refer to it as Henry did on the June 17th recommendation.
Yeah, it would be.
So it would read then be it resolved that council approve variation number V1677-21 subject to the city staff recommendations based on the June 17th council meeting.
I think we can go very much the wording that's here, approve variation 1677-21, subject to a development agreement.
Okay.
Terms and conditions of the development agreement will be in accordance with the June 17 recommendations made to the city's report to council.
Okay. Okay, that is the resolution then. Do we have a mover?
I so move.
Oh, we should add the encroachment because that is a separate agreement.
Okay.
So we will have the encroachment agreement and the development agreement.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. All right. Henry, you still move?
I do.
Thank you. Do you have a seconder?
I'll second it.
Don seconds it. Any further questions from council? Hearing none. Everybody okay? All in favor? And that is carried. That's the route we'll go. Thank you for coming, and John, thank you for sharing your concerns. I always say it's nice when you have the people who are the neighbors and the people doing the development come to the table and say, yeah, this works. So appreciate that very much.
Thank
You
you
should have
both.
done the traffic impact study at Tim Hortons.
If you can get that agreement in place there, we would be all over that.
Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you very
All
much,
right,
guys.
thanks for coming.
Thanks, guys.
All right, youth council member, I see Gwen, you're still there. Any new highlights from the grad?
Yeah, there's the NPC GVC Grad Parade tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. And kids will be picking up their diplomas on Thursday and Friday. And then school's over for the rest of the year.
And you got the commitment from them, they'll all behave themselves?
I don't know.
Okay.
They'll all make the commitment today.
Yeah, yeah.
Tomorrow may be different.
All right. Thank you very much, Gwen, and thanks for serving, and wish you well in your new appointment as well.
Thank you.
All right.
Marvin?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. Gwen, I want to thank you for joining us this last year. You're a brave person to do this in crazy times. Maybe at the best of times you'd be brave, but it's been wonderful. I very much appreciated having you. I want to congratulate you on your graduation and on your new job. And thank you so much for having been part of this, making this our inaugural youth council member a really good success. So thank you and all the best.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Gwen, you're not graduating this year, though, are you?
No.
Aren't
Next
you?
year. See?
Oh, I thought she was graduating this year.
I know. Everything changes in COVID. Everything changes in COVID.
So you're going to be back with us next year then?
I like that idea.
All right. Well, we'll cross that bridge another day, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. All right, be it resolved that this regular meeting of council be adjourned. Mover? Karina, thank you. Seconder?
Michael?
Thank you. All in favor? Carried. All right, thanks. Meeting's adjourned. I think Jody wanted to have a discussion with us as council, right? Or
Are we off?